Well, I got this thing here. I have no clue what it is. Like a desk or a... Ooh, goodness. Freaking water dripping out of it. It's got plastic feet on it. I think it's some sort of a bench or desk or something, or it was. But I'm gonna do something else with it. Got her in first gear there. I got the back tires are blocked and they can't go too far. Well, that clutch is a little bit noisy, but I think it's rusty inside from sitting. And I need to get the engine to idle down a little more. I need to work on the engine. Haven't really had time to work on the idle. So I'm going to idle it down a little bit so the clutch isn't trying to halfway engage. But when I put it in first gear and hit the throttle, I blocked the tires because I don't really want it to go anywhere. But when I put her in first gear and give her some gas, she wants to go. She tries to go. But I intentionally blocked the wheels because I don't want it to go anywhere. It wouldn't be able to go too far anyway without friggin' having an immediate friggin' accident, collision, crash. So I guess now that the drive-line's done, I can go back to the chassis. Next will be, I don't know, yeah, I might have to notch that drive shaft cross member, but I'll be doing the chassis, the seats, there's a loop that goes here to hold the steering column, and Lord knows what else. Yeah. Alright, I knocked these plastic feet, and yeah, there was like 2 or 3 pieces. There was a keeper and a stopper and an adjustable foot. But anyway, I got rid of those, and I'm not really sure what this thing was. Warning. Fasten securely to the floor, or to floor. Oh, interesting. Ply mold. So, I'm not sure what the frig. Not sure what this thing was. I thought it was like a bench or something, but I have no clue. Some sort of desk. I think I'm wrong there. But it's about to become an integral part of my chassis. She's about to become. Normally I would take a square or something, line it up along that bottom of that edge and draw my line, but I might use the reciprocating saw, and it's probably just going to follow these lines anyway, or follow this space. And I'm holding the camera, so I can't really hold the square and the marker and the camera. But just to give you an idea, I'm gonna remove that chunk, and I don't think I'm gonna remove anything else. Just this one on this side, and the same thing on the other side. And you can only imagine what I'm gonna do with that. Spoiler alert. I'm doing some preparation here at the front of the frame where this narrowed extension comes off, and I went ahead and prepped the other side so I can show you. This side here, I cut this channel here off on an angle. Wow, sorry I'm so shaky. I cut this channel off here on an angle, and where these slots are, I cut in this way and then down, and I left it sticking out. So I'm gonna take the hammer and pound that so it folds around. I might have to smoothen out the welds a little bit there, but I'm going to take the hammer and bend that around so this frame rail can be integral with the rest. It's already welded and bolted, but I think that might be a little bit stronger rather than just cutting it off. If I wrap it around and weld it. Oh, I don't know why I'm so ridiculously shaky. But you get the picture. I'm just going to fold that around rather than cut it off completely. And that'll give me preparation for putting this next piece on. I've got this next piece ready. I only cut off a leg on this end and one leg on the other end. And as soon as I get this prepped here, I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Junk buggy. Well, I chopped up this friggin' desk thingamajigger, and it's probably gonna go a little something like this. Oh my goodness. So that's gonna be like a dash support, steering column support. I don't know. That might support the hood and headlights type of thing. It looks like a front rack for like an ATV type of deal, but yeah, it's gonna go something like that. Right now, the only thing supporting the front is that screwdriver. But I've got her all mocked up. I think I've got her all mocked up to where I want it. Would you look at that? As if by some friggin' magical mistakes. That's pretty good. Actually, I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot better than what you might think. There you go. It's a lot better. It's pretty damn straight. I just need to make sure that they're both the same length from the back or whatever. And then I'm probably just gonna start welding stuff. Start welding it down. Measure twice and weld once. Ticky tacky zappy. Ticky tacky zappy. Phenomenal. Do 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 do. Phenomenal. Do do do. Phenomenal. Do 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 do. Phenomenal. Ticky tacky zappy for frog snacks. Ticky tacky zappy. Big times. Do, 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 do. Phenomenal. Do, 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 do. Oh my goodness. That's not too bad. Not too bad. Well, I don't know what the frig that thing is. Desk. Or I have no clue what it was. But I know what it is now. It's friggin' part of my buggy now. Well, I've welded her on there. And the screwdriver that I had a screwdriver. I had a screwdriver poked into this hole here. And I had it holding it up square. And when I finished welding, the screwdriver was not holding it up. It was leaning over. So there's nothing holding up the front right now aside from those back welds, and she's not too bad. She's pretty sturdy. I will be tying it into the front of the frame eventually somehow, but I wonder if it's still square. Sometimes with the welds, sometimes the heat pulls things. Or the heat can push and pull on stuff. She's tipped down just slightly, probably from welding, or maybe from the screwdriver coming loose, I'm not sure. But that's okay. That's okay. I would rather have it tipped down a little, like the hood. Like let's say I have a hood here, I'd rather have the hood tipped down a little. And the dash, I would rather have the dash tip back a little rather than the opposite, rather than the hood tip back or the dash tip back. So yeah, she's pretty damn square there. If I put the magnet on it, the magnet wouldn't know the difference because the only difference is way out here on the end, and it's not that much difference really. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good for the junk I work with. So these I might be able to build like fender flares or something off of here, and these are the same height as the back one, and this back one I'll probably be building a fender flare on here also. So the fender flares should be pretty much the same height, or the mud guards or whatever. So my turning radius, that's pretty damn sharp. Pretty damn sharp. I don't think it'll be turning that far, but if it does, we are good to go. We're good. And I'm not sure which wheels I'll be using yet, but there's different offsets wheels. I noticed that this one sticks out a little bit, I think, from the ball joint. And I've got a Chrysler wheel on the other side, and I think the offset is a little bit different. I'll be changing all the wheels later. They're just temporary to make it a rolling chassis. Temporarily. So yeah, I'm not sure yet if I'll be modifying the engine. I might relocate the gas tank or relocate to a bigger gas tank. I might take my plan was originally to take all that stuff off the top. The gas tank, the air filter, and the exhaust. I'm going to turn the exhaust upside down and point it down. I think that's the plan. And the intake might come out the front like the carburetor normally does. The carburetor is supposed to come out the front right here, these two bolts. So I might get a performance intake. I can order that stuff. I can order performance intake and performance exhaust. But I might end up just making something myself, similar to what I did with taking the cage off the breather. But yeah, these might be like fenders, or yeah, inner fenders in here. And if I wanted to build any mud guards or whatever, I could build them on there. That can support the hood, the headlights. I'm still not done yet, like I said, because there's absolutely nothing holding the front up here. The front is just floating. It's all bolted off those back two, or yeah, welded. It's welded there. That's the only thing holding the front. So I need to tie the front into the frame to make it more stronger. I want it to be nice and strong. But so far, I don't know, that's not bad, considering it's an old junk desk or something. I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe when I'm done I might paint it all one color and it might look half-ass. Well, I just found out the hard way. Oh, did you see it? Did you sant it? I'm trying to catch it. Oh, there it comes. Here she comes. Drip. Drip. Did you see that? The fucking fuel tank is leaking, boys. I think it's leaking off that fitting there. I never took that fitting out. And this line is not wet. So it must be leaking out of that fitting there. Or unless there's a pinhole in the tank from the rust. So I just learned the hard way. Aside from the fact that fuel costs money. I was welding right friggin' right here. So the piece that I cut off, I cut two pieces off of this desk thing, and the pieces that I cut off, I'm putting them up here. So the thing doesn't, the only thing holding it was one hinge point or one weld on each side. So I'm moving the ones that I cut off, I'm moving them further up here for stability and welding them on. That one kind of shifted on me a little bit, so I don't know how that happened, but I'm just going to work with, I might just leave it and probably do the same on the other side to make it look like a magical mistake. To make it look like I intended it to be that way, but I really didn't. So yeah, I was welding, and the friggin', I was welding right here beside the engine, to the right side of the engine, and I heard poof. So I took my helmet off and quit welding, and there was a little, well, I shouldn't say little, but the top of the engine was like on fire under the tank. So I put it out as fast as I could, because I don't want these rubber lines, if they melt, you know, the fuel would be everywhere. So I should have known, because I was welding and I could smell it. I could smell the gas. But I didn't, I wasn't sure where it was coming from. If it was like, this grommet sucks, and I don't know, maybe one of these rags might have had gas on it or whatever. So I wasn't really sure where it was coming from, but I found out the hard way when I was welding that the gas tank is leaking. Friggin' Junk Buggy 2.0 update. Sorry if I'm a little bit shaky. I'm standing on the tire. Trying to get a better shot of everything. But let me get down from here. I made a cover for the clutch. It covers the clutch. No, I'm just joking. I made a roadkill style to-do list, and I have not crossed off very many things, so looks like I still got a lot of stuff to do, unfortunately, but getting there slowly. So last night I put this front rack on. What I was trying to do, I was trying to build a dash loop to support the steering column. So, are you in the way as usual? Are you in the way, Buster? Why are you so far away? Okay. Yeah, so I was trying to make a dash loop, and basically I was just looking for a loop, and I was thinking about using an anti-sway bar. I think I had mentioned that earlier, that I might use an anti-sway bar. But I found this thing here. It's like a desk or something. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Move, Ryder. Go. Move. So it had another leg here, and I cut the leg off and sort of used it like a front rack, like an ATV sort of. And I just left that stuff sticking out the front, and then that can support like the headlights and the hood and stuff. Or whatever, I'm not sure yet. And the legs that I cut off, I actually relocated them here. So my original welds were only one on each side, so that wasn't structurally sound. So I was going to put some more mounts out front to make it sturdy, and I relocated that leg there, which helped a lot. So now it's got 4 points instead of 2, and 2 of them are further out and 2 of them are further back, and same as inside and outside. So she's on there pretty good. Actually, it's only tack welded on there right now, so I need to finish the final welds later. But I was just mocking it up and tack welding it on there so I won't have to hold it. But she's on there good now, and she's pretty sturdy. The fuel tank seems to have a leak in the bottom, or the fitting in the bottom of the tank seems to be leaking, so I drained it all out and I turned the fuel tank off because there's some fumes. When it was leaking, it was building up on top of the tank, and you can see a wet spot where it was running down. There was enough of it, it was running down. So yeah, I drained it and shut it off for now. I had a little fire when I was welding from the fumes. That was a little bit sketchy, but anywho, I didn't melt anything or burn anything. I put it out pretty quick. I should have known because I was welding and I could smell the fumes. But it was nothing major, and maybe I learned a lesson there. So what am I going to do next? I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm just lost, and this is what I do. I just stare at it and think, okay, now what? So what I'll probably do now that I made a to-do list, I don't have to sit here and scratch my head and think, what am I going to do next? I'll just probably go to the to-do list, and it'll tell me what to do. I like it when people tell me. I like being told what to do. So I need to do the steering. So I need a rack, or steering rack, or steering box, and a steering column. Brakes, seats, lock nuts, truck box. There's going to be a little truck box in the back. Dash hoop. Hey, I can cross one more thing off my list. I did the dash hoop. There it is right there. That's the dash hoop. So yeah, friggin' right. I can cross that off. Throttle, final welds, speed holes for weight reduction, rear hitch bumper, speedometer, kill switch, charging battery, question mark. weld the diff, change the fluids. Yeah. Frig, she's good, bud. She's still good, bud. It's not the size of the friggin' drill bit, bud. It's whether you drill the friggin' hole or not. So I went and salvaged a driver's seat from a 2003 Sunfire, or 2004, 5, 03 to 05 Sunfire, and I think it might work, but this here is really close, and the seat's not even all the way back yet because I need to trim this. I didn't trim it yet because I wasn't sure how much I would need to trim. Looks like I'm gonna have to trim most of it, or quite a bit of it. So I'll definitely have to put the gusset underneath like I was planning on doing here. So I'll probably have a triangle gusset under there if I have to cut a lot of this back web here. It's not doing anything, but except for structural support, because it's like an angle. Yeah, it's like an angle, which is much stronger than a flat bar. So if I cut some of that out, I'm still gonna have the angle out here, I guess. But I might put another gusset underneath, which I was gonna do anyway. So I might have to cut this back piece off, which is doing absolutely nothing, or just make a slice down to the bottom plate or something. And these seats are gonna have to go back because that's too far ahead. I just set it on that for now, temporarily. I just set it on there. Look at all the rust, boys. That seat's pretty dirty too. It's filthy. But I know that these are kind of small seats. These Cavalier Sunfire, they're pretty small, and that's what I want. I want something compact. What I might end up doing is I might end up putting the driver's seat over on the passenger side, because this won't be in the way here. So I might be able to move the seat further out, because it's really close to the gear shift also, and I planned on moving it back. So it's probably only gonna get tighter here unless I extend my shifter up higher. I kind of like the short throw shifters myself, but there's supposed to be an extension screwed on here. So I'm not really sure yet. I'm just working with what I got. It might be a lot easier if I put the floorboard on first, but I felt like I hadn't really accomplished too much today. My nephew came over and I had a visit with him. And the seat belt. If I move this over to that side and if I move the seats back, I'll be able to move them out further, because this won't be over here. There's a seat belt here, but it doesn't take up much room, and that would have to be removed anyway. There's only one bolt holding that seat belt. So if I take the seat belt off and move this seat over to the passenger side, it'll tuck in probably a lot better. So I've got two of these. These are from a four-door Cavalier Sunfire. I've got two of these, but this camouflage pattern I think is pretty common, and these colors are pretty common, so I'll probably get two more for the back seat. They might be a tight fit in the back. These might not even fit at all in the back. So that's where I'm at right now. I did accomplish something today, aside from salvaging the seats. I made a little drive shaft notch. I only notched it part way, but I got a lot more room here now, and the drive shaft doesn't move very much up because the transmission's fastened down to that cross member. Most of the movement is with the suspension out here, and the lever is, yeah, most of the movement is, since the transmission is fixed on this end, most of the movement is out there. I might get minimal movement here, but she's gonna, I think that's good. I think she's good. So it's been a pretty friggin' lazy day. It's been hot, and I went out with my nephew. Didn't get too much accomplished. I drained the fuel tank. I notched the drive shaft cross member. And I salvaged one seat. I've got two of them. I haven't unbolted the other one yet, but I think these will work. I don't know if there's anything more compact or better than this that I can get reasonably priced, but that's where I'm at. So I'll definitely be doing some modifications on the cage. I see that yellow line there. I planned on cutting it anyway, but I guess I'll be cutting it a lot closer to the roll bar. According to this, I'll have to cut it pretty darn close. But mind you, if this lever, like I said, if I put this over there, this lever won't be in the way. So maybe I don't need to chop it all out if I switch sides. Actually, you know what? Yeah, if I switch sides, that might be fine. And then I'll have to figure out seat belts, since I'm going to be switching them around. Well, I moved the seat to the back, or that's where the back seat is going to go, and I might be able to make those work. I can't say for sure, but as I was mentioning earlier, if switching sides makes more room in the tight spots in the corners there where the blue bar is. So if I switch sides and get another set of these, I might be able to jam them in there. They just might work. It's hard to say right now without getting a pair and test fitting them a little bit better. But judging by about halfway point, I know the rear end differential is a little bit offset, but I think I might be able to squeeze a set of them in there with some modifications. Yeah. So I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm just mocking up the seat and seeing how much room I got, how much I'll have to trim off the cage, and etc., etc. The floorboard, I don't know if the floorboard's going to sit on top of the frame rail. Yeah, the floorboards will probably sit on top of the frame rail, so technically I could unbolt the cage here, and here, and here, and I could like lift the whole cage off. And then I could put the floorboard down, drill the holes in the same spot, and use the same fasteners to hold the floorboard down also. I had a nice sheet of steel to make the floorboard, but I think somebody already used it. So if you've seen my video of the DIY ATV trailer, I had cut out a nice sheet of steel out of old furnace oil tank, and that would have been pretty good. It's a pretty heavy gauge. I might need two of them, but yeah, floorboards will be soon, and steering. Okay, so I did not get a lot done today, but I did get these seats. This is the passenger side out of the car, but I might end up putting it on the driver's side of the buggy, or of this build. So I'm not too sure yet. If I put this on the driver's side, it'll only be because there's more clearance here in this corner. They are dirty, but for an off-road buggy, that's perfectly fine. I can either clean them up or I can get them more dirty. So, yeah, that's what I got right now. And if I can figure a way to get that, 9 horsepower motor to charge a battery, I'm not sure if it'll charge a battery or not. Excuse me. But if I can figure that out, then I might take the headlights out of the same vehicle that I got the seats from. The 2003, 03 to 05 Sunfire that I got the seats from. It's got like pointy headlights. I don't know how to explain it. It's got like mean looking pointy headlights. Excuse me. So if I can figure a way to get a charging system on this motor, then I might use the Sunfire headlights, because they're pretty mean looking and they're pointy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. They're pointy like the modern UTVs and side-by-sides. So yeah, I might steal those headlights, or I might grab them from that car too, from the same vehicle, if I can figure a way to mount them. So yeah, I didn't get much done today aside from notching the drive shaft cross member, pulled out some seats and mocked them up a little bit, made a few measurements, and I did something on the front rack there. I can't remember what. But that's all I got for today, and the sun's going down, so I'll do some more tomorrow.